Hi, welcome again to another edition of Market Analysis. For today, May 15th, I'm Giovanni Betancourt, analyst, trader, and operator with Vantage Markets. Well, we've began our week with some activity in the merger markets. We're going to be seeing that Newmont agreed to buy Australian gold miner Newcrest for a whopping $17.5 billion deal. So that's gonna hit up the markets. So despite the uncertainty, high interest rates, recent bank turmoil, and the risk of recession, this is gonna be a nice popper for the market. So therefore, we'll be will we be seeing some fluctuation in these markets? Well, let's take a look at what we can expect for this week. We've opened in the Nasdaq with a gap down. On Friday, we had a sell off. So, I'm sorry, we opened with a gap up. I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. We opened with a gap up on the Nasdaq. So therefore, we have the assumption that if we begin with such a pronounced gap up, that we'll have a buying week. So we'll see the tendency for the markets to rise. Let's see if that will be the case. We're going to update our resistance and place it at Friday's high. We're going to bring up our support and bring it up towards this session right here, which is about 13,257, because it's basically where the market has been finding support. So the RSI is north of 50, almost reaching the overbought territory. So perhaps the space that is left uh, from the way market is fluctuating toward resistance will probably bring the RSI into overbought territory. So being bullish in the indices wouldn't be bad. As the same token, this gap up as well as with the S&P 500. So the notion to be bullish is there, is present. We also have a gap up in the Dow. Let me update the levels for the S&P. Let's bring up our resistance to 4170. That 4200 marker is our long-term or midterm target. Our support for the Dow is going to be 33,200. Resistance intraday resistance for it will be 33,600. I'm supposing. This is, let's see. For crude oil, it's been in a tight range in reality. You see that 74.68. So we're going to use that ceiling, those tops, that triple top that is it created as a resistance. $70 is obviously that support, but I'm gonna use 68 since we are very close to 70 anyhow. So being bullish in crude oil is not a bad idea. Then we have Nat Gas, which really did open with a gap up. So 245 is our resistance, and I'm gonna place my support at 210. So being bullish with Nat Gas as well. Then we have gold that has been steadily being supported by around 2000. So that 2000 marker is of importance. So therefore, it is a psychological also level. So I'm gonna use that. Then I'm gonna bring my resistance to right around 240. Okay, so being bullish with gold as well. Then we have Nat Gas. I mean, sorry, silver. I'm all confused today. Sorry, but I'm also sick. I got a I got a cough. I got a cold. So pardon me for that. Then we have our resistance. I'm gonna use 2450 as my resistance, being bullish with silver. Then we have copper. Also, copper has opened up with a nice gap up. So using this low of last week, we can use that as our support and 385 as our resistance, being bullish. Then we have Bitcoin that also opened up with a gap up, and this is also going to be a scenario of a weaker US dollar. We could probably see a weaker US dollar this week. All right, then we have here also another gap up on the currencies. On the euro, it has gained some strength. So 109.20, I'm going to use that as my resistance for the euro, being bullish also on the euro. Check out the pound, also with another gap up. So 124.50 will be my support, and I'm going to use 125.7 as my resistance for the pound, because the dollar opened with a gap down. All right, so we could anticipate a continuation of this movement to the downside of the dollar index because of this gap down. And if that happens, obviously we'll see movement to the rise on the other assets that we just saw. That's my prediction or my assumption of the markets for today. This week, I'm looking at a bullish market. All right, as long as we see a dollar declining, that should be the case. Have a fantastic trading day, and don't forget, on Wednesday I will be having a webinar on breadth, VIX, short-term patterns, and on the adage of selling may and go away or stay and play. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a nice one.